Hola, welcome to Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes, a bilingual podcast that shares interviews with self-made millionaires, financially savvy investors, and all things financial literacy and dinero. Your host, Natalie Torres, is a two-time TEDx speaker and award-winning author, investor, and financially savvy Latina that has been featured on NBC, Telemundo, and Forbes as a financial literacy and mental health advocate. She is joined by her co-host, Vera Eagley, an author, investor, and seasoned insurance professional. Hello. Welcome to Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes. We are back, the 9th season. Gosh, it feels like it's been a long summer, and I'm just happy to see you, Vera. How are you?
I'm so happy to see you too. I'm doing great. Thank you. I cannot believe how the summer's been like awesome. It's been like so long, but in like the best ways and sometimes crazy ways, but I'm happy.
Yes, I'm like, oh, the end of the, I mean, it's hard to believe we're already at the end of the year. And so, and our 9th season, and we have some really incredible interviews that, we got a chance to just meet people that we wanted to interview. And so stay tuned for those episodes. But this one, we just kind of want to catch up, let all of you know what we've been up to, what's going on the rest of the year. And hopefully you have also been hopefully relaxing, enjoying, and sure being productive if you need to be, or if not, that's okay. That's what breaks are for. And that's what you and I have been dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely been a fun summer. And we as some of you know, I've been doing a couple episodes on my own because Natalie got a little busy. And maybe if you follow her on social, you know why. You get a little peek into that, Natalie.
I told Vera, I'm like, you know what? I need a longer maternity leave. Can you do this? And she was like, I'm on it. And
I'm on
of course,
it.
I love her episodes. So I was like, dude, just do it. Cause when you do you, it's so great.
So how's it
But yeah,
been? How's maternity leave been?
Um, it hasn't been long enough, and so I didn't have an actual same maternity that most people have. So it's been like work and play and a lot of work, but still, but a slower summer. Which you're right. I felt like it's been nice to just be home, and so I haven't been as a social butterfly that I thought I would be with my baby. But it's been nice because him and I have had this opportunity to just have that one-on-one together. So the same thing with my husband, like summers have been, he's not teaching anymore in the summer. So it's just kind of like, oh, we have our own little unit, spending time with the parents. And then now it's just, gearing up for the end of the year. That's been a little crazy, trying to figure out how I could be um, all those things that I was prior in a new way and not drive myself crazy. And so, and I've been telling you about this, like I have this speaking engagement and, that's something that's been on my mind for a long time, and now that it's coming to fruition, it's like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And uh, so I guess the long or the short version or short answer is it's been better than I expected, and it's also been totally unexpected.
I that's life, right? I love that.
Yes,
I
yes,
want to highlight one thing that you said. You're trying to kind of balance being, I'm going to shorten it, being the old you in this new version.
yes.
Um, do you even want that?
Yes and no. I know that's not the great answer, but the reason why I say the old me, and it's not even the old me. You're right. My new version is still me, but I think sometimes, and I hear this often from parents, they're like, "Oh, I lost who I was,"
Got
or,
it.
and
Yeah.
for me, I don't feel that way at all. And I think that's the beauty about being an older parent, that you don't have FOMO, you don't feel like, "Oh, I missed out on these." It's like, no, I got to do all those
I
things.
did my
Um,
crazy.
I did my thing. Yeah, I loved it, and so, and the fact that we're in this moment is really fun. It's really cool. But I think, and I hate to just say balance, because I know women talk about this all the time, that when they're, especially when they're moms, or they're businesswomen, they're like, how do you balance life? And guys never get that question.
I know,
And I
right?
think for me, it was more balance of the mindset of kind of like, okay, I need to be more patient with myself. I need to allow myself to do things. I don't want to um, dwell. And I hear a lot of moms talk about mom guilt. Luckily, I don't have it yet, really, and so hopefully I don't. I mean, I've been surrounding myself with women that literally teach it, speak it, say there's no such thing as mom guilt. It's society teaching us to have guilt, and I love that mantra, because I'm like, you're right. My husband and men, they're not constantly told about dad guilt. So
Yeah.
for me, it's choosing. Even right now, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a little nervous about. I'm traveling again. Different parts of the country soon again, and it's scary because I'm like, am I leaving too soon? Am I not? Should I be staying at home more? Should I be doing all these other things? And I'm like, nope. I need some of that,
Yeah.
get away. And I even called you. I was like, "Hey, can you travel with me?"
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's interesting. I have a friend who also Latina, and her job changed. She had to travel more often, and her kids are a little bit older now. They're teenagers, but her mom was just like, "Do you really think it's right that you're like leaving all the time, and like your husband is the one that's cooking, and you have to be home for the kids?" And she started feeling all this like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And I just happen, I mean, I don't have kids, but I love reading about parenthood because I find it so intriguing how psychologically it impacts, especially women. And I told her, I just read this book where it literally said the same thing you did. Uh, Mom guilt is bullshit. Like, they have a dad. Yeah, let
Yeah.
the dad clean, and you're gonna handle your business, and then you'll be right back. Like, it's not like you're gonna be
Yes.
gone forever. It's like, hello, that's
I
what
love that.
50-50 parenting is. Like, one of you can
Yes,
be
and if
busy.
you're a single parent, you have hopefully a
Yeah,
tribe, right? And you just said it right. It's the stigma, it's the culture as well. And I was lucky. I grew up with a mom that did travel at times a lot for
mine
work. I mean,
too.
like months at a
Yeah,
time. And so it was. I remember looking back, and I'm like, maybe was I upset sometimes that she was gone? Yeah, I didn't like have a mom that was at home when I would get home from school. She'd come home like at 8 because she was an executive. But looking back, I'm like, my mom was badass because she spent the weekends when she could with us.
yeah,
And if she was gone a certain long period of time, she made a way more money than most moms did. And I love the fact that she gave us all these opportunities that most kids dreamed
yep,
of. And now I that's how I debate. And I've been debating this before I had him, right? And so when people would say, "Oh, how dare you? How do you leave your husband for a period of time when you're working at a different state, or you're constantly traveling?" And I always found that odd because I was like, first of all, I get to work from home most of the time, so my husband and I are sick of each other most of the time. We're lucky that we get to have breakfast and at least one meal a day together every day. And when I'm gone for a few days or a week or whatever, that's nothing, and that's like me time. So I think if we start promoting, especially women and that are working and have to travel, um, whether you have kids or not, don't 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 buy into the guilt that you have to play this particular traditional role. And my husband, I told him, hey, I want you to be able to travel and still do the things you want to do. We just have to coordinate better now. That's really the reality right now. We're like, oh wait, I'm out of town. You got to be here, or I'm gonna be, doing this. And so I think that's the harder part, just juggling where we can no longer just be like, hey, I'm leaving.
yeah.
It's like, wait, hold on, you need to come back
Yeah, but
tonight.
if you think about like for those of us like you think about it when spring break would happen or a vacation, you're suddenly like the best organizer in the world. Like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna plan this, the tickets are bought. So like now you just do it with parenthood, right? Like, it's the same thing. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
a burden. You just, but I do think that if you have the beautiful opportunity to be in a partnership, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse, it could be like you have a baby and you live with friends or a roommate. Nowadays, it's whatever it is, but as you said, it's a village, it's a tribe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can really coordinate so well. Like, and ask your relatives.
Absolutely.
Like, my brother constantly asks my mom, or he'll be like, "Can you do me a solid? Like, ask us. Like, we're that's what we're there for."
Oh, it's awesome. Oh, and shout out to Amber. Okay, I love how you said that because she's my cousin-in-law. Or my cousin. It's weird to say cousin-in-law. But I think I want to say the first few months that I had him, and then there was just one day I was like, I need to get out of the house, but I also want him to be with me. And I'm like, who can watch him in the middle of the week? And she has her own little business too. So I was kind of like, any chance you want a little play date with baby? And, because her kids are full grown. One's like 20 in his late 20s, and the other one off to college soon. And so she was like, oh yeah, come on over. And it literally just for 4 hours, it was a lifesaver. And just that reaching out, be like, hey, you know what? I need some mental state of my own, Zoom in time, and the fact that she's family and, her space was great. I think we need to do that more often, not just in business and in personal life, and be like, hey, do you mind just that hour or two? I had a girlfriend that came over, my best friend, Jess, love you. Multiple times in the beginning, she would come over, even if it was just for an hour. She doesn't live close by. She's like at least half hour away. And she was like, oh yeah, go ahead, do your shower, do your nap, eat. And I'm like, cool, that hour freaking amazing. And that was it where I was like, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really, I think
So
the beauty of from what I hear from moms who have that tribe, it's just like the little things start becoming so of course, the baby stuff is so cute and adorable, but, like, you're also a person, you know? Like, it's so easy. I see so many of my friends get lost in their babyhood, and I'm like, "Dude, I saw you when you were dancing on tables being crazy, man. That's still you in your core. Why are
Thank
you faking the
you.
funk?"
That is I love that. You're so funny. So this is a podcast about money, and I think you just hit something that was like, "Oh, shoot, that's so me." Where there was times where I'm sitting in the nursery with him and, having our moments, and then I'm like, I would get over something right away. Where I'm like, oh, is something wrong with me because I'm not dwelling and to, like, sit here for a whole hour? I'm like 10, 20 minutes is, like, my max, and then I wanna do something else, and I said, "Oh my gosh, am I a bad mom for that reason?" And then it made me think of, like, "Oh, no, this is how I am in life general." Even my husband's like, "Yo, you might not have ADD, but you're
You're
definitely
right
like,
there.
okay, let me do something else." And luckily, baby was the same way. He's like, "Let's do something else. I can only handle this for a
Yeah.
few minutes anyways." But I think the money side of it, I was thinking like, "Oh, there's a big difference as a parent, an older parent too, let's just be real. Um, when you have the financial resources, when you have the support, when you have the opportunities, when you have the advocacy as well, because there's some things, and for those of have been following our journey, my journey as well. Fostering adopt is very different, but I think about like, wow, we can give him everything that he wants, as well as not in a way that we're going to spoil him. Sure, we'll spoil him in a good way, but in a sense that I think not because we say, oh, we lacked or we didn't have it growing up. And if anything, we're like, nope, I want to give them what my parents did give us because we were really super lucky. But the financial freedom that comes with, okay, I can do this. Or you know what? There's moments where him and I are like, oh, that's really expensive. I don't know how other people are doing it if they don't have the means for it, but the sacrifices that we're willing to make. And I think having the conversations around money is happening more often right now than it did prior. As a married couple, you have those conversations, right? I know you and Olivia, I'm sure have like, oh, especially when you're buying a house or when you're moving or you're traveling, or the money conversations are always happening, hopefully, right? And so, but now with parenthood, I think like they're still happening, and obviously they're being altered now because there's this third person that you're trying to leave as much as possible for. But I think it's also kind of, or him and I are also trying not to lose the way we rationalize things if it was just him
Yeah.
and I, which I find that interesting. And I've been reading this book. Oh, I was going to ask you, have you read any books over the summer? I reread this book. I read it before a few years ago, Psychology of Money. I had to reread it again because I was like, oh, you know what? I'm a mom. It's a different mindset now. And a lot of the things still felt true, but there were some things like, oh, I do not want to pass this on to my kid,
Ooh,
or oh, I definitely
I
want to pass
definitely
this on
wanna
to my
read
kid.
that. I've never read
Um,
that one. Yeah.
it's a good book. Yeah. I used to read all his article, Morgan Rouse, prior before he came out with this book. But I thought this one wasn't interesting because I think it came out literally right during the pandemic. He had obviously already written prior, but the thing is that book particularly, you and I talk about money mindset. We talk about the traumas that the financial and generational traumas that we have brought into our own lives. But I think the interesting part about that book, he does touch base on, you know, the opportunities that we do have matter because of where we're born, at what time, um, and who we are. And let me give you a little snippet if you haven't read the book. Like he gives the example of Bill Gates. He's like, Bill Gates was born during a certain time in a certain place of right in was it Portland himself, or right? I forget if it's
I don't
Portland.
know,
I
maybe
might be
Washington?
quoting the
Could be
wrong
Portland.
state that he's
I
in.
think it was Washington, not Oregon.
Washington, obviously
Yeah.
one of those well-off
Yeah.
neighborhoods, right? And he grew up during a time where computers were just coming out, and his high school was one of the very few in the world that had the moms of PTA got convinced by their computer teacher. They only had like one computer teacher back then, right? I mean, they didn't exist. That managed to say, hey, we should buy a computer for the school so the kids in the computer team or lab, whatever, can use it and learn from it. And so the PTA money went towards that instead of whatever they annually put it on. So then he and the founders, right, got to be the first to create or play with computer, create certain things. And so he talks about if it wasn't for him born in that place to have that opportunity, to have that resource, and my grandma would always say the same. We're in the US where we got free libraries and let's hope they last forever because there's moments where I'm like, how do they stay open? We love using it all the time. We were there 2 days ago. But the resources that most people in the world don't have, they don't have free books to borrow. They don't have libraries. They don't have cafes. They don't have, these librarians of wealth of knowledge. And so, I think about that Psychology of book. He talks about just kind of like there's these opportunities that we can pretend that it's all preparation and opportunity, but some of it has a lot to do with
Yeah.
luck. And you and I think are part of that. We're like, we prep, we do have the opportunities, but how lucky you and I met um, for the one time event. I think it was right before the pandemic through one of my best friends since I was 5. And she had been talking about you for months prior, where she's like, you have to meet. There's so much in you hear that, you're like, I can't wait to meet her, but who is she? And it didn't click who you were until I think after the event that I was like, oh wait, that's the friend she's been telling me about. But
Yeah.
you're busy in an event and I didn't think about, and you've been a godsend this past year for
Same.
sure. So it's just kind of interesting about, yeah, it's a great book. I
I will
highly
definitely
recommend
check it
it.
out because
He's
there's
not giving me any money for
something
this.
to be said about the cosmos aligning. So, like, not only do you have the access and people rooting for you to be able to have access to certain things, but the cosmos align, meaning whether it's luck, it's magic, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the opportunity is there and that you're surrounded by people that know certain things, right? It's like they're sprinkling that fairy dust around you and you just got to be able to let it fall on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
say yes when you're not ready. Say yes. That's the number one. I think actually that'll be I've been saying no a lot. My last couple years, my mantras say no to things that I don't want to do. Or I'm going to say yes when you're not ready. Still say yes to the things only that you want to do, but yes if you're still not ready, because I'll tell you 9 out of the 10 opportunities that were like truly great opportunities for me were scary, and I felt like I wasn't ready for them, but I did it anyways. Um, I think are key.
Yeah.
And so, ooh, I like that. So what is that? Can you think of a word or something that's like, what do you want for the rest of the year? We only have a few months left in the year, but I'm gonna say yes
Yeah.
even when I'm not ready. That's
I
not my
love
word, my
that. That
mantra or
is
something.
beautiful. I'm going to borrow it. And I will also, from my side, because I literally said this like 3 weeks ago. You know what? I am open to the next opportunity. And I don't know what that is yet, but I can feel like there's something coming. So I am open.
Ooh, the peak
Yeah.
is there. Oh, I love it. Oh, I should have brought my card. I have these great moon cards that Danya Rivas gave me. Shout out to her. But one of them, I've never pulled this card out, and I pulled out this one card, and it said, I forget what moon it was, but it was like you're much this closer to your dreams. Basically, you're at the peak. You're at the peak where it's like you see a
Yeah.
glacier just poking out of the water, and and it was a really good card because the question that I was asking, right? And so, like I say, you're open to that opportunity because it's
It's not
there, but you're like,
crystallized
you
yet,
don't know
but it's
what it
there.
is, but when it happens,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there, it's
Yeah.
forming. Um,
Most of you that listen to me,
yeah.
I'm a
So, I
big
like that.
I didn't know that I had mad manifestation skills because we didn't know that word, especially as Latinas, as growing up. And then I would just journal and write things down, and I just freaking knew what I wanted. Like I knew how I wanted to feel, and I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know that was manifesting. I just thought like, well, this is what I want, right? And so now this is why I'm like I'm saying yes to that. I don't know what it is, but I know the feeling that I have, and that's what I'm focusing on, and it will lead to a crystallization. And then when I know that, then all I will do is be like, that's what I want. It's just that focused desire. That's what I want. So yeah,
I love it. So let's add this for our next episode. I want to not end like this, but I'm thinking what you just said, you know what you want. And so my talk, and we could talk about a little bit after the next episode of the title is
I love
You
it.
Can Have It All, but Not All at Once. And I think you and I had this conversation a few weeks ago. And I'm not going to say it's your mantra, but I like how you said it, where you're like, some people are all flash and no cash. And so I think that combination of putting it out there in the world, knowing that you want it, and you're like, I want this. And there's many things that happen that I'm like, I wanted that, But it didn't happen till like literally 5 years later, or when I wasn't ready then, or I was ready now, or whatever happened and aligned. And so um, Michelle Obama said it during an interview with Oprah, where she's
Mhm.
like, "You can have it all, but not all at once." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so right." And even though I hate hearing that because I want it now, we're that ambitious people. But yeah, so I think the next
Yeah.
episode, you and I should talk about that kind of that opportunity, because who knows, that opportunity should be
Yeah,
hopefully
I
there
love it.
before
Right around
the
the
next
corner.
episode.
Happy
Well,
ninth
happy ninth season.
season.
Yes, and send us your questions or your themes or your worries or what you're talking about, because there is a lot. Her and I did not touch about all politics, and you
Yeah.
know we should on the next one. I think this one we just wanted to catch up and not go into what's been happening in the world, because I
Yeah.
mean, you got social media, you watch the news. But yeah, I love that we get this opportunity, this platform to share with you. Please let us know what's on your mind. See you in the next one. To learn more about the podcast, follow us on Instagram at FinSavvy in 20 minutes and catch our interviews on YouTube. If you want to become a sponsor, hire us for your next workshop or speaking engagement, reach out to us at financiallysavvyin20minutes.com or send us a DM. All it takes is 20 minutes out of your day to become financially savvy.